Today is mainly about doing a demo on the Rupert Neve Designs Masterbus Transformer. And the main purpose of it is to master 2 records that I have recorded and mixed. I'm pretty happy with both of these mixes, and the reason why I wanted to rent this unit is because I don't really want to go too much down a rabbit hole chasing plugins and trying to decide, should I use this? Should I use that? The thing that really gravitated me towards this unit was the fact that it's all in one. We're already happy with the mixes, so let's just sweeten them up. And then I'll probably be strapping a digital limiter at the end. First, I gotta unbox it, and I gotta make some space in my rack. Gonna move my distressors, wire this thing in, and then we're gonna get onto it. All right, so I spent some time on my own just fine-tuning, dialing in each section. Right now I have this set so that it's basically level matched as far as LUFS go, and we will probably be able to hear a difference between the original mix and the MBT, just having the music go through it, turning up the drive and lowering the output. We're hitting the same amount of LUFS, but I think we'll hear a little bit of a flavor difference. So let me just play you the mix with no MBT.
See, the job that you mean wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let them annihilate, let them deteriorate, let them participate, let them retaliate, let them commiserate, let them narrate, let them.
Okay, and then with the MBT engaged.
See, the job that you mean wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let them annihilate, let them deteriorate, let them participate, let them retaliate, let them commiserate, let them narrate, let them.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna flick the bypass back and forth.
The job that you mean wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order.
So that's bypassed when it's in the red.
The job that you mean wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you
And you'll see the levels coming into the output when it's actually engaged.
mean wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let them annihilate, let them deteriorate, let them participate, let them.
So that's really subtle, but I can already tell it's doing something. Just feels a little bit more exciting. I kind of get the same feeling when I put maybe something like an SSL bus compressor on the mix. It just gives it a little bit of an energy lift and probably rounding off a little bit of the dynamics. I'll turn the compressor on and we'll slowly bring up the blend. And then we'll do a bypass of that.
But a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let them annihilate, let them deteriorate, let them participate, let them retaliate, let them commiserate, let them narrate, let them.
Okay, let's go to the next section of the song.
Now the job was no longer fun, it was time to run. She was pulling back the layers. Off to the town where they let you get down because they don't know any better. Let them annihilate, let them participate, let them deteriorate, let them retaliate, let them commiserate, let them.
You can hear when I get close to matching the volume of the compressed signal and the uncompressed signal, it still sounds, I would say, better and more exciting. Got the fastest release going. The ratio is on the lowest. Blend is pretty much up on the way. I'm maybe just backing it off 10%. I'm also compressing everything above around 160, 170. We're not compressing a ton of low frequencies. So that's keeping things pretty natural, but it's definitely adding some vibe for sure.
The job was no longer fun. It was time to run. She was pulling back the layers. Off to the town where they let you get down because they don't know any better. Let them annihilate, let them participate, let them deteriorate, let them retaliate, let them commiserate, let them narrate, let them.
Okay, and then let's bring in the EQ. I'm going to start at 0 for both. Let's bring that in.
Now the job was no longer fun. It was time to run. She was pulling back the layers. Off to the town where they let you get down because they don't know any better. Let them annihilate, let them participate, let them deteriorate, let them retaliate, let them commiserate, let them narrate, let them. Why don't you look like the one who needs help now? See, the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as call leader.
That is awesome. Okay. Yeah, so we're about halfway there through this unit. We got the input cranked a little bit, output backed a little bit. I really wish that they did have a more obvious indication of where you're high passing. I just think that's like a pretty important thing to know. Yeah, of course we can use our ears, but low end is one of the toughest things to hear. And some of it is not even super audible. It's more about feel. So I'm not really sure where that's set. I'm trying to set it at a place where it does feel good, but I don't also want to, totally lose some frequencies that we might need in there. I would guess that I'm probably hitting about 30. And for this kind of music, I think we're pretty good to stick with that and above. Yeah, holy smokes. Okay, so let's go back to bypassing these in and out.
See, the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as call leader. Let them annihilate, let them participate, let them deteriorate, let them.
So let's pop in the width and see what that sounds like.
See, the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as call leader. Let them annihilate, let them participate, let them deteriorate, let them retaliate, let them commiserate, let them narrate, let them.
That's awesome. The width, I think it's hitting around 500 hertz, and you got to be really careful with this. When it's engaged, it's really easy to want to crank this because it sounds really good. But then when you really go pretty high on this setting and take it out, you realize like you are missing a lot of the center. So out of all the modules that are in this unit, I would say the width is something that you should really go back and forth with just to make sure you're not kind of going a little bit too overboard. I really like that about this as well, that you can just kind of separately turn each section off just to make sure you're not overdoing certain parts of it. Let's go back to the width and hear it where it's at.
See, the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as call leader. Let them annihilate, let them participate, let them.
Wow, I really love that. Okay, we are gonna try some Super Silk.
See, the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep
like the way that most of these songs are sounding without the Zener drive. But that's fine. Having these two saturators is awesome. Let's listen back to that with the Silk on and off.
See the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let 'em annihilate, let 'em participate, let 'em deteriorate, let 'em retaliate, let 'em commiserate, let 'em narrate,
Play with this a little bit more. I'll go back to the other section.
the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let 'em annihilate, let 'em participate, let 'em deteriorate, let 'em retaliate, let 'em commiserate, let 'em narrate,
One thing I find interesting is this harmonics knob seems incredibly subtle. I'm not really sure if it's supposed to be more related to the Zener drive, but when I go from minimal all the way up, I don't hear a huge difference.
the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let 'em annihilate, let 'em participate, let 'em deteriorate, let 'em retaliate, let 'em commiserate, let 'em narrate.
Yeah, the harmonics knob might be just related to the Zener drive. Like, I really don't hear it doing much to the Super Silk.
See the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you
I mean, but with the Silk not in, it's not doing anything. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, I don't think that knob is necessary to me. I'm not hearing it do a lot, and you have the minimum to maximum knobs for the blue and the red. So, yeah, that's an interesting one.
see the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let 'em annihilate, let 'em participate, let 'em deteriorate, let 'em retaliate, let 'em commiserate, let 'em narrate.
That's crazy. I would say it's about 4.5 units in one. So, the price obviously does seem like a lot, but if you were to go out and buy like a nice bus compressor, a widener, something that can do sort of real transformer harmonics, and allow you to adjust not only the amount of the saturation, but the lows and the highs. Like, there is the Rupert Neve Design tape emulators, but right there, like, a pair of those is like 2K or so. A nice bus compressor would be at least probably 2K or more. I mean, most people that are rocking bus compressors in the analog domain are often spending closer to $3,000 on something like a API 2500 or something. So right there, you're pretty much at $5,000. Add in a backstyle musical equalizer, that's probably another $2,000. So then you're in probably about 7. And then you also have the widener. I don't know too many widener width stereo image analog units there are. I know there's the SPL one that is maybe around $500 or $800. I'm not really sure, but it's under $1,000. So, you're at like 8 grand there. And then you also have the high pass filter and the input and output trim. So I think you are getting a lot of value. It's a lot to spend on just one unit, but when you really break it down, um, all of these individual components sound awesome. I really don't want to take this unit back. I really don't. Yeah, vibe and musical. It's great.
See, the job that you need wasn't me, but a means to keep your lives in order. See, the job is a con and you wish you were gone, but you remain as cult leader. Let 'em annihilate, let 'em participate, let 'em deteriorate, let 'em retaliate, let 'em commiserate, let 'em narrate,
All right, thanks for watching this first video. Tell me what you think about the demo. If you want to give me any feedback on these videos, I'm happy to listen, and I'm hopeful that I can do more of this. I am working as a full-time mixer, engineer, producer, and this stuff can be really time consuming. I'm hoping that I can make time for it. Okay, have a good one. Cheers.